So, the first topic is never losing sight of the prime point of oneness of mentor and disciple. Quote, if you become deadlocked, return to the prime point. Unquote. This was the guidance of first Soka Gakkai president Sunesaburo Makiguchi. The Lotus Sutra is based on the spirit of oneness of mentor and disciple. The Daishonin's Buddhism, too, is a teaching of mentor and disciple. Our prime point as practitioners, therefore, is our vow to struggle together with our mentor. If we constantly return to this prime point of mentor and disciple, we will never become deadlocked. In this passage, the Daishonin reaffirms the incident that became the prime point in their relationship as mentor and disciple. It took place during the Tatsunokuchi persecution. As the Daishonin was being taken to the execution grounds, Kingo gripped the reins of his mentor's horse and declared that he was prepared to die at his side. In praise of the faith that Kingo showed at that time, the Daishonin goes so far as to say, quote, if you should fall into hell for some grave offense, no matter how Shakyamuni Buddha might urge me to become a Buddha, I would refuse. I would rather go to hell with you. Unquote. We find the ultimate essence of the Daishonin's humanistic teaching in his spirit to respond wholeheartedly to the sincere devotion of his disciples. If the Darshanan and Kingo, mentor and disciple, upholding steadfast faith in the mystique law, were to fall into hell, then Shakyamuni Buddha and the Lotus Sutra would also definitely be found there. In that case, the Darshanan explains, it would no longer be hell, but rather the realm of Buddhahood. This is the principle that hell can instantly be transformed into the land of tranquil light. We can manifest the brilliance of the world of Buddhahood everywhere. This is the teaching of Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism. Our first two presidents, Sunesaburo Makiguchi and Josei Toda, united by the bonds of mentor and disciple, demonstrated this with their own lives. In a prison cell that he described as, quote, cold to extreme, unquote, unquote, Mr. Makiguchi wrote, quote, depending on one's frame of mind, even hell can be enjoyable. Unquote. And Mr. Toda, who accompanied him to prison, remarked, quote, if I should fall into hell, it wouldn't matter to me in the least. I would simply share the correct teaching with the inhabitants there and turn it into the land of tranquil light. Unquote. This spirit is the very quintessence of the faith in the Daishonin's Buddhism. As long as Kingo doesn't lose sight of this spirit to struggle together with the Daishonin, he can triumph in any place and any situation based on the principle that hell itself can instantly be transformed into the land of tranquil light. But if he is defeated by his own weakness, losing his temper and failing to show consideration to those around him, he will veer from the path of oneness with his mentor. This is why the Daishonin repeatedly warns him to be careful. He writes, quote, "If you depart from my advice even slightly, do not blame me for what may happen." Unquote. The key to victory lies in aligning our hearts with the heart of our mentor who faithfully embodies and propagates the law. If we ignore our mentor's guidance and simply base ourselves on our own vacillating minds, we will not be able to complete the arduous path of Buddhist practice. A sutra states, quote, "Become the master of your mind rather than let your mind master you." Unquote. Only when we practice faith in the same spirit as our mentor can we truly become the master of our mind and attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. Next topic is lamenting over our problems slows our spiritual development. Here, the Daishonin specially castigates lamentation and self pity. This passage gets at the heart of people's readiness to bewail matters that are beyond their control. Everyone is susceptible to doing this. Even Kingo, who was prepared to lay down his life alongside the Daishonin at a crucial moment, tended to have trouble with human relations because of his rigidity and single mindedness, and may have given it to complaining in spite of himself. In advising Kingo not to go around lamenting to others, the Daishonin underscores that mourning about one's troubles or misfortunes is not the way of life of the wise, but the foolish. The Daishonin writes, "If a man behaves in this unfortunate way, then after he dies, his wife, overcome with sorrow at losing her husband, will tell other people about the shameful things he did, though she has no real intention of doing so, and that will in no way be her fault but solely the result of his own reprehensible behavior." Complaining nurtures one's inner weaknesses and negativities and becomes a cause for stagnation. Here, the Daishonin is teaching Shijo Kingo that doing away with complaint and instead challenging his own human revolution head on is the sure path to victory. Continued in the next video.